All right, guys. I don't know who's out there right now. I almost wasn't out here right now. There's Braxy. There's my Cubs buddy who is watching all 9 innings with me today. He was at game one. We did it, right, Braxy? Yeah. Cubs win. Jack McGrath, diehard Cubs fan, is here as well, and I'm sure others will join us. I've got my computer open too. No. What are you doing? Oh, that wasn't the finger, was that? I think that
No,
was his
that was
index
a thumbs
finger.
up. That was a let's go Cubbies thumbs up is what I
Oh,
saw.
good. I was wondering. You could tweet me with any comments or questions, but the Cubs win. They outlast the Padres 3-1. That ninth inning, Jack, very, very tense. Where was your mind?
Well, my mind was scared initially. I'm glad they didn't get back to the top of the order to face Tatis because I think that would have been a huge issue right there at the end. Interesting managing by Counsell today. He threw his bullpen arms early. I was surprised at how early they pulled Tyone because I thought he was rolling, but obviously you want Thielbar to face those lefties. They let Keller go too long, and that was pretty obvious.
Yes.
As soon as you got bailed out, and thank goodness there's no automatic balls and strikes yet, or else the Cubs would have had another runner on base without one out.
Yeah.
So thank goodness that's next year and not this year. But as soon as Bogaerts lets that go for what should have been ball 4, that's when I think you pull Keller. I don't think you continue to pitch him after he has already given up a home run and should have walked the guy. And the control clearly wasn't there. But luckily, the Cubs get bailed out because they had great defense today. They had great relief pitching today. And Tyone pitched for 4 innings, what was essentially a gem, and they went on to win the game. So my heart was pumping. My heart was beating. I was thinking, I hope this isn't Cubs of pre-2016, but it wasn't. So it was rolling good.
The point I was making to our text chain and my kid, if he was trying to understand, and Mason was down there too. So was Allie. I said, when they turned Brad Keller around, and he slowly became a reliable high leverage bullpen arm. He was never meant to be the closer, and then let alone he was never meant to pitch 2 innings in an elimination game as a closer. That's where you can say, hey, maybe Jed left the bullpen short. And then where I was totally with you, Jack, is so the first hitter in that ninth hits a home run.
Yep.
The second hitter in that ninth walks, but the Cubs got a break with a strikeout. The third hitter got hit by a pitch where he yanked it again. That's where you've got to say, okay, I can't go on anymore. But the way Counsell has been this year, he's usually a batter late. And thank goodness. And I was nervous as hell because I didn't know what Kittredge would have left. Yeah. I thought you unnecessarily made him the opener yesterday. I was fine with the opener. I didn't like that it was Kittredge who they've already seen him. So I was worried what Kittredge would have on the 3rd day in a row. But thank God, he had a lot left, and that was outstanding. Got a little worried with the ball off the bat to center field, but then once I saw PCA, I was good, and my heart was back.
It's that Wrigley roar. It gets you every time. Every single time a ball's hit to center field, even if it's in the middle of center field, you still get that roar of everybody standing up, and you think it might be gone watching on TV. But luckily, it wasn't this time. I do see in the Twitch chat people mentioning that Keller used to be a starter, so you feel like he could go longer in those scenarios. But this year, he really hasn't pitched more than 1 inning as well. So now you're putting him in a situation that he's unfamiliar with this tweak, with the heightened velocity. So because of that, you're exactly right. This is not what he's meant to do, given his new repertoire in this game. The defense from Dansby Swanson, even though he didn't really hit well today, I thought he was the game's MVP. He's Luis Ariza's public enemy number 1 because he was phenomenal today on defense.
I don't agree with you there, but and my disagreement is he's the series MVP, and I think they said that on the broadcast. He was definitely the game. He hit well before today too. He'd been hitting the ball, but this is exactly. I just said, did Jed leave them short in the bullpen? Mm-hmm. But this was what Jed and those analytics crews have viewed and always have wanted, take into account this defense. And this up the middle defense is second to none. It's got to be one of the best up the middle defenses with Swanson, Nico, PCA. Shaw's going to be a great third baseman, but up the middle, they are so fucking good. And what Dansby Swanson was able to do today, initially he stayed with both. Like, he didn't catch it, but he was able to keep it in front of him on the line drive. The sunglasses goes flying. He makes the play. And then the other one, it didn't go in the glove, and he was joking afterwards. I got to catch it next time.
It's like you ever check the webbing in Little League when it went through your glove, and you're like, oh, you pretend like there's a hole in there, there's something wrong with your glove, rather than actually that it was your mistake. Or check the receiver gloves, make sure the sticking's still on there.
You always blame the glove. You always blame the glove. It's the glove's fault. But Dansby Swanson, he was like worth every penny in that series. We have discussed why, is he overpaid? Is he not living up to what you were supposed to be? Dansby Swanson has lived up to everything he was supposed to be and more defensively.
Yeah.
He just is a little bit inconsistent as a hitter, but that playoff series right there, what he was able to do, especially to their good hitters, all series, it was incredible. And we got to give a shout out to Jack, to PCA.
Yeah,
because
what a game.
On this chat yesterday, it looked like PCA forgot how to hit, and he was in his head. And this was a game where it's an elimination game. The crowd's going crazy. You would think he would press even more. I thought on ESPN that they did a good job of showing the adjustments he made from game one to game one, game two to game three with the wider stance. And he just played within himself. He hit the ball the entire time. I hated the fucking call at second where they called him out. Now, I can't complain with the calls because of what happened in the ninth. But I felt like, yes, maybe he was off the base. I also felt like the second baseman, Cronenworth's leg pushed him off.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
Inadvertently, it was like his leg was there. So I hated that call. But I loved what PCA did. I think he deserves a lot of credit. I think he took a step in his maturation with the way he was able to rally himself and be involved in all the big moments. And Michael Busch then, we needed that home run to make it 3-0. I wanted a fourth and a fifth because I knew it could get dicey. Cap is joining us right now on the stream. Cap, congratulations. That was some game 3.
Wow, I'm in Vegas again. And I flew out here today because it's my wife's birthday and she wants to see the Eagles at the Sphere. So we're going on Saturday. And so I'm just hanging out by myself. She's not even here yet. I came early so I could see the game and not be in the air when the game was on. And there were a few things. I heard you talking about the play at second. By the letter of the law, he was off the bag. My problem with it is not that he pushed him off the bag with his leg. He blocked the bag, and they did not call that.
That's what I said. He knocked him off with his leg. That's why I hated that call.
I also thought that our guy was safe at the plate, Nico.
He probably was. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm sort of with the broadcast where if that was us on defense, if the Cubs were on defense, like it looked like he didn't tag the arm. It looked like he tagged him high in the face, and then he got his arm down. But I don't know if that's conclusive enough to turn it because you can't prove that the arm was never touched.
Fair.
If you would have shown me that just off the bat, I would have said, yeah, he's safe. I don't think he got the arm, but I just thought it had to be conclusive. That's what we always ask for.
Yeah, and that's fair. We did catch a huge break. That was not a strike to Xander Bogaerts. Not a strike at all. I also would like to know, like, twice Luis Arias hit balls to short. Did he, think he was out, not jog, and then go, oh, shit, I got to go?
Yeah, so for the line drive that bounced out of Swanson's glove, the first one he did. They showed it on the broadcast. He stopped and
but
then
the
started
second
going
one,
again.
what about the second one?
I don't know. He just might be slow. I was surprised by that, too.
He is a little slow, but, oh, man.
It was a great teaching moment for me with Braxton, who plays. And I go, this is why we tell you, you hit the ball, you put your head down and you run through the base. You don't watch the ball. You don't think it's going to get caught. You don't think it's a foul ball. Like if Arise, who is a great player, was on my team and pulled that shit in game 3, and he wasn't pulling anything intentionally, but you must run everything out. Anything can happen in these elimination games.
Yeah, it's a great point, Sylvie, that you told your son. That's why I tell you, you've got to run everything out, because it could be a pop-up and you go, son of a, and it drops.
Yes.
How about Michael Bush's? No. How about Michael Bush's little shit, like swing that went off the handle that landed right behind third base behind Machado as well?
Yeah.
Like, that's one that a lot of players will probably dog out just because who knows where that's landing. Probably in a lot of cases that's a foul ball, but ran it out, and I can't believe that one fell. Breaks were there.
Yeah, and now the Cubs and the Brewers, are you serious? Yeah. I mean, this is going to be awesome theater.
This is great. I'm trying to think, like, it was just the wild card. That one game wild card is when the Cubs have played the Brewers. But other than that, there's like forever they were an American League team. This is going to be like the biggest Wisconsin-Chicago matchup since the NFC Championship game in 2011?
Yeah, because the Bulls and the Bucks, that wasn't that big a match. Yeah, that's probably right. The one where Cuddy hurt his knee.
Yes. Yeah. Like this is, and it's Council against his former team. You're going to get like 7 games. What is it? It's 5. It's 5 games.
And him and Pat Murphy are boys. That's his best friend.
Yeah. So it's been so long, guys. I forgot how many games the NLDS is.
Yeah, you go 3, 5, 7, 7.
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, too. So it's just Wikipedia. But according to Wikipedia, Cubs and Brewers have never met in the postseason. That was a game 163. It wasn't actually technically a postseason.
That's correct.
Game in 2018. So the two teams have never met in the postseason before. So this is going to be the first time ever.
Great call.
So the Cubs need 11 more victories to be the world champ. That's it. Yeah.
All right. I got to fess up to something. And Melon Smash. Jack, you're monitoring Twitch. So you can read any comments or anything you want to read there. I got the YouTube page up. So we got a good crowd in here, too. Melon Smasher points out about Tyon and the way he pitched today.
He was magnificent the last 7 starts.
And that's what he said. His last 27 innings, I think he's allowed 4 runs, is what Melon Smasher said. I got to fess up to you. I gotta eat crow, and I'll happily do it. Because last year I wanted them to trade him. I always thought that you would never miss Jameson Taillon. And he proved me wrong today. Because, like, he was in command and control from the moment he entered that game. That whatever they call, what is that pitch, the new changeup pitch that he's throwing?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to remember what they called it. I'm like, what is that? Yeah, but it was diving.
Yeah, he was great. So, Cap, you were right. I was wrong in this instance. And Jameson Taillon, this one's for you.
Tip your cap to Jameson Taillon. Sylvie, you grew up a Cubs fan. I grew up a Cubs fan. I know AI is a Cubs fan. Like, for us, for just a selfish second, it's super cool for us that our team is moving on.
Oh, my God.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, Jack. Go ahead, Jack, and then I'll give him.
No, it's great. Like, being younger, I haven't had to endure as much of the playoff losing, blowing every single game years. I mean, I was 3 in 2003 in the Bartman year, but it felt like towards the end of that game that we may get a classic Cubs collapse in the 9th inning because Keller was throwing the ball all over the place. They had runners on. Tatis was about to come up. It felt like we were about to get a classic one, but it's another one where it just feels good, especially with how long we waited for this one to finally continue to win one. So I'm 100% with you, Cap. I'm feeling great right now. I haven't had a lot of games where I have been, when I watch games, I'm usually pretty mellow. I'm watching on my couch. I'm not getting up screaming at the TV. There's usually only a few times it happens, and it's postseason play when my team's in it. I was up and yelling at the TV today, which I haven't had in a while, which really gets me pumped up because we haven't had that meaningful of games.
It's so intense and fun. I was with Sylvie in '98 when they remember, Sylvie, they had a game in Atlanta. They lost the first one. Mark Clark got pounded. The next game, I think it was Kevin Tapani, and Javi Lopez hit a home run to beat us at the end. Remember?
Oh, I remember. Believe me, that was my. It's so funny because yesterday was the anniversary of ESPN 1000, and the last thing I covered for GN was that Cubs Braves series. And then I left after Game 3.
Yeah,
I came to ESPN 1000.
Yeah, you left, walked out. He walked down the block and started his new job. And we actually won an air award. Me, Sylvie. I'm trying to remember who else. Filato was the producer of it for the coverage of the wild card or the tiebreaker game. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, against the Giants with they played that on the scoreboard in Game 1 at Wrigley. They played Gaetti's home run against the Giants. But I mean, to your point, Cap, about like enjoying even. I know it's just a wild card series, but it's now a series. I'm trying to think in my head, how many series wins have we watched as fans? They won a series in 2003 when they beat the Braves.
Yep.
They won a series in 2015 when they beat the Cardinals.
Yep.
You know, they won that wild card game first.
Yep.
And then they won all the series in 16.
Yep.
So 3 of those.
They won.
So that's 5.
One series in 17.
And that's it in Washington. So, like, for our life, we've only seen the Cubs win a playoff series, what did I say, 5 or 6 times?
03 won 1. They didn't win in 07. They didn't win in 08. They got eliminated right away. You won
15.
1 in 15. You won 1, 2, 3 in 16. It's 6. 1 in 17.
And then now
and 1
today.
out. They've won 8 in our lifetime.
It's only our 7th time. I'm 54 that I've seen in my life the Cubs win a playoff series. So I will never fucking take these for granted. Ever, ever, ever.
Right. Yeah, and do you count the wild card game in 15?
Because it's not a series. I mean, it was huge, and that started it all. And I love, let me say this, I love that Jake Arrieta was there. He was there every game. He threw out the first pitch. I don't know if did you guys see his first pitch in Game 1?
It was bad, right? He missed pretty badly.
He tried to throw a 90+ mile an hour fastball, and he sailed it. And I was sitting with Zetterman. I turned to Zetterman. I go, I hope that's not a bad sign for us. It wasn't, because our pitching was masterful, even without Horton this entire series. And then he stayed yesterday, then he sang the anthem today. So, or not the anthem.
Sylvie, Cubs Brewers, AI chat. Cubs Brewers is super fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
Will Brewers fans show up for the series in Milwaukee, or are Cubs fans going to take over the stadium? I mean, what is it, American Family Field now? American Family Field up there.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
And it's look, it's the first time, like, I think since we've been teammates with ESPN Milwaukee, our ownership, the ownership group, is based in Milwaukee as well for Good Karma Brands. I mean, this is going to be some really cool stuff, I would think, between the two stations. Maybe we even get sent up there. I would love to go up for one of these upcoming games for 1 and 2. But it was something. I got nervous today that they didn't add on enough. Like the 2 runs felt a little light in that inning. I would have
100% agree. When that inning ended, I'm like, we only got 2 out of all of that.
Yeah, and then the way the 8th inning was at the 8th when you get the home run from Bush and it's 3, and then Nico doubles.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay,
we're over to third.
Yeah, I liked that move, by the way.
Agreed. I don't know if Craig called that or Ian did it on his own. I'd like to know. But either way, I was cool with it.
I was totally cool with that sacrifice. It was a great play by Arise, the bang bang play that we already talked about, and I felt like, okay, I needed that 4th run, and it got very hairy in the 9th. But shout out to Kittredge for closing that thing.
Holy shit. You know who's laughing today? Jed Hoyer is probably like, hey, my guy Kittredge. I took all this shit from everybody. He pitched his balls up. And Daniel Palencia.
Yes.
Like if you have to give an MVP, I just did my recap. Who would you give the MVP to in this series?
Tell him, Jack. We've already talked about that.
We were talking about Dansby.
That's who I gave it to.
Yeah.
Yes. It's got to be Dansby. I mean, that defense, that was like that was as good of defense as we've ever seen, on par with the 46 defense. That's how good of an impact he made in this series at shortstop.
Yeah, I gave him the MVP, but the unsung hero, Daniel Palencia, I mean, 2 spectacular outings, games 1 and 3.
Yeah.
He was great. The stuff looks great for him. And they had Boyd up in the bullpen, too. They were ready to go to Boyd if they had to face a lefty in that ninth inning.
You survive and advance?
Oh, I agree. But now I'm spinning the wheels in my head, looking ahead to Milwaukee and thinking it's been 4 days, or it'll be 4 days since he pitched last, and I wonder if they throw him on short rest against Milwaukee in Game 1.
That's a good question. I don't know what they do there.
And
who else are you throwing? You can't throw Tyone, you can't throw Imanaga, so you don't have Horton. So are you throwing Assad or are you throwing Boyd on short rest? I think you throw away, I guess. I think you throw Boyd on short rest. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
Probably.
Is it starting Saturday for sure? Is that Game 1?
That's what's on MLB.com is the schedule. Saturday would be Game 1, Monday would be Game 2, is what MLB.com.
Oh, okay. So they're skipping a day between 1 and 2. And someone, I think Fred Clark, just pointed this out too. As much as we've been singing the praises of Dansby's defense, that catch by Nico going up the ladder and making that play in a hell of a moment. I mean, it's exactly what, Cap, before you joined, it's exactly the way the analytics department talks about the defense and how, when you can defend in these playoff games, it makes your pitching staff that much better. And it was a huge, huge difference. They didn't hit much of this series. They got a couple home runs in Game 1, and then they got, the start 2-0 and the Bush home run, and that was basically it. So what was it? 6 runs this entire series? The Cubs scored?
Yeah, 3-1 win, 3-0 loss, 3-1 win. Yeah.
So if I told you they would score only 6 in 3, you would say that's a tall task to win a series.
It is.
But they found a way, and I could get Mason fucking Miller out of my dreams.
God, is that guy amazing?
Oh my God!
Did you read the story about him? So he was throwing like mid to high 80s, and he lost a bunch of weight, and they finally took him to a doctor. The doctor goes, "Dude, you're a diabetic." What? Yeah. And they got him medicated. His weight went up, and his velocity's 104.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
What these guys are doing with what Skubal is doing, with what's his name is doing in Pittsburgh, who was a late bloomer too, and now Mason Miller. Like, these are some of the most dominant pitchers, and nobody ever had them as dominant, in college. I think they're the old story about why am I not pulling his name in Pittsburgh? Someone help me here.
Paul Skeens?
Yeah, Skeens. Skeens, obviously, in AU or travel baseball, they told an old story. PCA was pitching to him. He was the catcher, and PCA was the pitcher.
That's hilarious.
Well, they thought for a while Skeens could have been a two-way guy because he was so good and before college coming in early on, and then he was just so dominant on the mound. They said, enough with that. But, I mean, that's the same story with Keller, too, right? And that's why the game is so focused on
Keller was released by the White Sox last season.
Exactly. Yeah. But you tick it up 2 or 3 miles per hour, and you're a completely different pitcher on the mound, and that's exactly what Keller is.
I watched a clip with him this morning, and he said, this pitch lab's a real thing. They changed my spin rate. He said, and all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm throwing 99. He never thought he could do that. So... all right, I'm going to run. I got to change clothes. I got to re-record stuff. I got to record something for the roofers.
It's 5:41 there. Where do you got to go?
He's got to go to the casino.
No, I'm not going to the casino right now. My wife's just landing, and I've got to record for the Roofers Association for ESPN 1000.
Give us a tour of your room. Where are you staying?
I'm at the Wynn.
Okay.
So there's my room right back there. And then... right, there's the
let's see it. The sun's out. Amazing.
There's Trump Tower. There's Palazzo and Venetian.
Lower it a little bit. All we could see is the sky. There we go.
There you go.
Very nice.
So there you go.
We had a view of Allegiant when we were at the Mandalay Bay this week. So.
That was a great trip, man.
Yeah,
that
someone, by the way, Beacon Mike, I think this says Deacon Mike. Deacon Mike says, who's the person ball gagged in the bed?
Shh, don't say anything back there.
They can't because they're ball gagged.
I'm going to see your guy, Nick, I think I'm going to hook up with tomorrow.
Yeah, he's the best. Nick Cervetio.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's awesome. All right, Cap, enjoy your
boy,
trip.
Baby.
See you, Cap.
All right, bye.
There you go. There's a Cap. Any comments from you guys in our chats before we go? I know, Jack, you're monitoring Twitch.
I've got a couple. We've already got Travis, who works with us. Travis Wacker has already started to throw in some Brewers hashtags in our chat. So I'm not loving that. He's talking already. People are happy generally. I don't have a specific one, but there's a lot of them about Nico Hoerter, how happy they are for Nico. Especially after he was it was a little tougher for him. With some of the trade talks coming into this season, even by
I was talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was the noise was there for Nico. People were saying, and it was a fair argument at the time especially before Kyle Tucker was on the team, and you had Paredes at third, and you had Matt Shaw coming up. The thought was you play Paredes at third, and you play Matt Shaw at second, and then there's no place for Nico, which would have been fair. But he's come out and he's proved people wrong. The defense is so valuable. That's why he had a 6-WAR season this year. The defense is so good, and we saw how good that can be today.
And I have the most faith in him hitting, too, right now. Like, I was trying to think. Tucker, the other thing we should mention, and I think we're going to get a Tucker impact in Milwaukee. I think we saw at the end of the game in game 2, and then this game, and like he did the right thing, too. I would have liked him to get the ball in the air when Nico was thrown out, but he pulled the ball.
Yeah.
He had a couple of hits. He's doing Kyle Tucker things. If he has to go the other way, he's going the other way. If he has to pull it, he can pull it. I like my ideal situation. Now, Bush came through today. Here's my lineup because Council will never do it because I couldn't believe that he had the same lineup out there today.
Here's just before you get to it, because I'm interested, but when PCA bats behind Carson Kelly and Carson Kelly gets on and then PCA gets on, it clogs the base paths. So PCA has nowhere to go. I think that happened twice today where there's nowhere for PCA to move up just because the guys are getting on in front of him, which to some degree that's okay. You want to power
that's a good thing,
that are getting on. But at the same point, like if you bat PCA higher in the lineup or maybe in a different spot, maybe not behind Carson Kelly, maybe behind Hoerter or Tucker or something like that. You have guys with a little more pop who will already be up the base paths, and then you can have PCA still steal the bag. I don't like him behind the slow guy. Put him behind one of the faster guys.
I understand, but like Kelly, to his credit, deserves a lot of kudos because he homered in game 1 on the back-to-back jacks.
Yeah.
He had a big game today. What did he get on base? 3 times today?
3 times, I believe. Yep.
And then the frame in the 9th inning where now you can still do it before ABS comes in. Yeah. Like they will be showing that. They don't talk a lot of baseball on SportsCenter or any of these, debate shows. Mm-hmm. But if I'm producing one of those shows, I'm showing that tomorrow morning and saying this is why ABS got put in.
100%.
For a moment like this in the 9th inning, I know there's some Cap is a guy like this who says the human element. That should not be called a strike. Thank God it was for the Cubs' sake. But my point was that Carson Kelly just played a hell of a series as well.
Yeah.
So credit to him. But this is the lineup I would go with Nico hitting. And I know he likes to go left, right, left, right. So I would lead off Nico. Nico would be my leadoff hitter. I just think he's doing everything. Contact. He can steal you bases. I want him at the plate as much as possible. I think Tucker's back, so then you get the lefty bat at number 2. Then batting third, I would go Seiya because he's hot right now. And this could be changed because we know Seiya goes into these slumps. And then I'd put Michael Busch 4. Get the lefty bat there. He's hitting really well, and I can hit him 4th. So that's how I would line up. I'd get Seiya up higher and I would not have Ian Happ batting third. It was nice to see him double when he batted righty, and he had a nice sack bunt. But I am not. He is, especially when he's slumping. He is not a number 3 hitter in general, and when he's slumping, he should not be batting third.
Yeah, I still struggle to get that one. I'd move Bush up. Maybe I might flip in your lineup, but I think it's fine. I might flip Bush and Tucker just because Bush has been so hot recently, and I want to keep him going at the top of the lineup. So I maybe put him at 2, but I think it's by that point with those 4 hitters, if they're your top 4, it's negligible. But I agree with you. I don't know why Hap's still at the top. I don't think Council's going to change it if it keeps winning.
No, he's not going to change.
How about before the Bush home run? They used a lot of pitchers today, so I'm trying to remember every guy who was in order. But you had the lefty in the pen for the Padres go warming up, and then the righty still pitched against Bush, and then Bush hits the home run. I think was it Suarez still in the game at that point?
Yes, it was.
And they have the lefty in the pen, and they keep showing him like he's ready to go.
I was shocked.
Instead, they go with Suarez. What are you doing? That's okay.
I was shocked.
Again.
Jack, I was so shocked, and I will say this: I'm very happy. As much grief as I gave Craig Counsell, that Mike Shildt is not the Cubs manager. I thought he did some questionable things. The sack bunt in game 1 very early. I didn't like that at all. Instead of them playing for the bigger inning. And I thought, that he stayed with Suarez too long. And I thought the Cubs, out of all their bullpen guys who throw 100, I thought they had him measured up the best. They hit him hard, I thought, yesterday. And you saw what they did to him today. So I was surprised by that.
Well, you see him 3 times and it helps. Third time through 3 days in a row, especially when he might be a little laboring towards the end of that because he's thrown so many pitches in the last 3 days for a bullpen guy like that. It kind of makes sense that they're starting to size him up a little bit better. So yeah, I thought some of the managerial moves this entire week by Shildt were interesting. Everybody was talking about the intentional walk in game 1. I thought that was fine, but the way he used his pitchers surprised me a little bit. They yanked Darvish quick. That was so quick in this game. And it was probably the right move because it looked like he was about to blow up. I was still surprised they did it. I thought they'd give him a little more. I mean, he's a former multiple-time all-star pitcher. You'd think they'd give him a little more leash than that, but I guess not. They just said, all right, you don't have it today, and they went and pulled him, which probably, in hindsight, was the right move.
Yeah, it was. And they had to get him out of there. And I said yesterday on this that this would be an interesting point in Cubs lore because the new Cubs started the first move when they started selling. The first domino to fall was the Yu Darvish trade.
Yeah.
And like everyone was a little bit surprised there. And so Darvish, I believe, was the first trade. And here he stood in front of the Cubs, the new version of the Cubs that Jed built up in the wake of all those moves. And would he be able to stop the Cubs, or would the Cubs get by the guy that they traded? And they had no issue with him early on. So it was a great thing. Sweet Cindy says to me that they love my passion, but they're laughing that I say that Tucker is back after just one good game. And the reason I say this is, like, if Ian Happ has a good game in the midst of a slump, it's different. Like, Kyle Tucker, I still believe is a great player. I still believe Kyle Tucker is a great hitter. Shit happened this year. Well, I don't know if we'll ever know the full story. We saw the real Kyle Tucker. I still believe in Kyle Tucker. He's playoff tested. And to me, that's a sign that could be kickstarted. Now, Sweet Cindy, you can come back to one of these chats after this next series, and we could discuss. I think good things are ahead for Kyle Tucker in this series. I think he's built for this.
There's a question in the Twitch chat, and it says that they think, and is it possible that Kyle Tucker's leg is still affecting him in this series? I think it is. I thought there were times on the base paths where he looked a little bit slower than he usually does. Not slow by any means, but a little, he's usually a pretty quick guy on the bases. I don't think he looked full speed today on the bases. So I think it definitely could, but hopefully they use this day off. He gets a little bit healthier and he can keep going too. In the Twitch chat as well, some other questions we've got. No, my bedroom is not painted entirely yellow. The ceiling's white, and this is my parents' basement, so that's why the walls are
Oh,
yellow.
look at
I'm not
you.
sleeping in an all yellow room. My room's painted blue.
Do you live there? Do you live in your parents' basement?
Not in the basement. I live upstairs. They let me upstairs most of the time.
And like there's nothing wrong with that. As I started my career in Chicago after I had a full-time job in Iowa, where did I move? I moved back to the old parents' house.
Yeah.
Until you get your feet on the ground, why be house broke and be spending $2,000 on a studio apartment when you could save your cash? So good job. I will not make fun of you for that.
I'll take it. Do we think the Bush home run with the Cubs being up 3 in the 8th, do we think Counsell was a little late to pull the trigger on a reliever because he felt comfortable? That's what we got in the Twitch chat. I think a 3-run lead's different than a 1-run lead. They probably have guys up already in a 1-run lead. Maybe a little bit they want it. I think they just felt Keller was their best chance at that point, and he obviously lost his changeup at the end.
Yes,
but I maybe they should have pulled him earlier. They should have pulled him 2 batters earlier than they did. Yeah, it probably was
at least one batter. Like that was the thing. After he hit the guy, home run, walk, even though they called it a strikeout. I keep saying that's a walk because he did basically walk him as control. And then he yanks one and hits a guy. And then I just think it's time that he's just know your personnel. And he stuck with them one too long. But they got through it, and thank goodness. If Kittredge didn't come through, all the talk would be about Counsell's mishandling that and needlessly pitching him as the opener instead of another opener in yesterday's game. Like, how many pitchers? This is a good question to ask. How many in a 3-game series? Because there haven't been many 3-game series. Has a guy started a game and he's pitched in all 3? Like think about that. Like, I know it's the opener, and this is a new phenomenon in the last 10 years with the opener, and then it's a new thing with the 3-game series. But for a guy to start the game, and he came out of the bullpen in game 1, came out of the bullpen in game 2, so he started a game, he got a save. It's like it's a pretty weird series for Andrew Kittredge in a 3-game set.
Yeah, we got a comment on the screen right now. Stacey King's KYP, know your personnel.
Yes,
no doubt,
absolutely.
No doubt about that. I can't, especially in these 3. We've only had these 3-game series for a couple of years now, so I can't imagine we've had very many of the 3-game where a guy's pitched in every single game and started one. Maybe Bumgarner. Did Bumgarner pitch in 3 consecutive games and start one of them? I can't remember in that run if he pitched 3 in a row.
Wouldn't be shocked. That guy is Mr. October on the mound. That's for sure.
Question from Zach on Twitter. If we're not hitting right now, we don't have a chance. Do we believe our hitting can come back enough against Milwaukee to win the series? I'll say yes, because Milwaukee's pitching isn't as good as San Diego's, and I think the bullpen shut down the Cubs pretty well. Milwaukee's got a deep rotation. They don't have a lot of guys at the front who can really shut down a lineup. So I'm going to say yes, the Cubs hitting can come back pretty well in Milwaukee. That would be my guess.
I think they'll be able to hit better too. And I think, like, man, to get through that Padres bullpen, you now know you've seen the best.
Yeah.
You've seen the best arms in baseball. So everything else kind of going forward, and Milwaukee can still pitch, but you've already, no one else should scare you at this point. So, and now if they can get Horton back for game 5, is that when he's eligible?
That's when he's supposed to be eligible, but
we'll see if he's healthy.
It's such a rib fracture. How soon can he come back from that? If he feels pain, especially for a young guy like that who's already pitched more innings than he's ever pitched before, he gonna risk it at this point? It's a game 5, so it's do or die. But are you gonna risk it with him at this point? Maybe re-injuring himself. Now, I have heard with the rib it might be different, that there's not as much for him overcompensating on other things, which is always the issue. But I don't know if I want to risk that with my.
What's the rule, Jack? And anyone on the comments, if you want to help, what's the rule with setting your roster when a guy's on the injured list? So, like, he's on the 15-day IL, and don't you have to set your roster? Are you able to do that if he's eligible to put him onto the roster? Is he a part of a taxi squad Does someone else have? How does that work? How does he?
So I'm doing my best internet search right now. That's going to be a question for Jesse over us.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure because it definitely changes how your roster is going to line up. If my video game is accurate that I play, they will be able to bring him back, and I don't think he won't be count against the roster until he's off the IL. But I'm not 100% sure. That's just the video game I play.
Yeah, yeah. Because why else would they say he's eligible to come off in Game 5? I just want to know the semantics on how you get him there. Yeah. So Jesse's in the clubhouse. I don't think we're going to see Jesse today. No. He'll be on all of our shows tomorrow. But to me, I sort of, after winning this one, not necessarily that you're playing with house money because you want to continue to advance, but I feel like they match up well against Milwaukee. I would rather play Milwaukee this round than the Dodgers or the Phillies.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that, especially in a short series. I would much rather play Milwaukee than the Dodgers or the Phillies. Dodgers and Phillies are going to be tough. Dodgers obviously still, I think, have the best roster in baseball, even if the record doesn't show it. Phillies have all the power in the world, and they have good pitchers at the top. I'd agree. I think this is as good of a matchup as you can get for the Cubs, and we saw it in that 5-game series. The Cubs went out already and won 3 out of 5 this year against Milwaukee. So can they do it again? I hope so, but I think they can. No doubt about it.
All right. Any more questions before we leave? I haven't eaten, so I have got to eat. I haven't eaten since last night.
Watch some stuff. You haven't eaten since last night?
Well, because it was a Jewish holiday where we had to fast.
Oh, I gotcha. I did not realize that. Well, well, all right. Well,
this was my first beverage since last night too that I guzzled, and I may pour myself a glass of wine now.
All right, sounds good. Well, go enjoy that. Go enjoy some Sunday Night Football, and let's get ready for Saturday now.
And then it Cap did the unthinkable. By the way, this was always my trick. He told everyone where he's staying. So for all the people in the chat, see if he's listed under his name at the Win, and if you can call his room. That's Shane. That's a rookie move to give out his hotel that he's staying at. So if there's a listing under David Kaplan, feel free to prank.
Do it. Tell him take that, Cap, in his hotel room at 2 a.m.
All right, Jack, Cubs fans for joining us. Thank you guys. Congratulations. This is what it's about. We have as a fan base, not just the Cubs fan base, but Jack, you were the one who pointed this out to us originally the other day on the show. It had been since 2022 since we saw any playoff action. I normally hate when people tell me in like mid-June and mid-July to enjoy the ride, but this is what it's about now. Now is the time where you do enjoy the ride, winning playoff baseball games. This town has not seen enough playoff games, not seen enough playoff series, not seen enough playoff series wins. So enjoy this, Cubs fans. You guys are the best. We'll be on tomorrow talking about the entire day on this Friday. And it comes at a good time because while the Bears are always in focus, the Bears are on bye. So now we're really getting cooked up for NLDS.
All right, Sylvie, I'll see you later.
Congrats, guys. Let's go, Cubs.